a handful of my own questions that I think will be really good to hear from these guys. But after that, I really want to hear from the crowd. So we're going to have a mic runner who's going to come and ask or give the opportunity for people to ask individual questions. Sheesh, you guys are all looking good right now. Okay, let's start with the first question. So first question is for all of you guys. We're going to have you guys go out on the line. Anybody that's got an answer, just feel free to grab the mic and go first. I know this is hard to summarize, but for somebody right now who's sitting in the crowd who wants to be in your spot next year, okay, so they either want to be a top setter, top self-genner, top closer, top earner, can you give us an idea, just a snapshot of what it takes to be a top leader in your position at pros?
So for a new guy, right?
Yeah. Again, there's a lot of people here maybe that are middle level, lower level, brand new. Give us an idea of like, what does it look like? Give us a snapshot of what it takes to be the top guy or top 1% of the 1%.
For someone starting off, I would definitely say it starts off with just consistency and persistence. So when I first started off, I learned primarily by trial and error. So just going out, knocking doors, sitting in appointments. And my first 15 closes, either half of them canceled or I couldn't close the other half. And how I got significantly better and essentially gained the techniques that I use is just by, learning the objections, learning how to talk to these homeowners, and just constantly being persistent, being in as many homes as I can. And I knew when I first started that, it's one of the hardest things I was ever going to do. But I felt like the more I sat down with different types of homeowners, the more doors I knocked, the better I got. And just constantly doing it every single day and making it part of your lifestyle is kind of how you can get these techniques better. But yeah, just being consistent.
Yeah, I feel like a common mistake a lot of people make is they give up too easily. This job's meant to be super hard for a reason, because if you're one of the top people, you reap the benefits of it. You really got to commit to putting the time in every single day. A lot of people, they fail 1 or 2 days, a week, a month. They go a long time without making money, and then they just give up on it right away. You got into this job for a reason. You have a lot of good people around you. Lean on those people. Trust the process, and just lock in.
Love it. Go ahead, Doug.
Yeah, like he said, is it on?
What's that?
Is it on?
Yeah, you can hear you.
All right, cool. What's up, everybody? Pretty much like what they said, man. All you guys got to do really is just believe in yourself. There's nothing really different between all of us up here. Some of us aren't as good looking, but other than that, it's just hard work, right? Alex Winters, he probably works his ass off every single day. All these guys up here just work, and like if you just treat it like a 9 to 5 and actually commit to the hours every single day and get better each and every day, there's no reason why every person in this room shouldn't be a 6-figure earner. But it comes down to you, and just believe in yourself, and as long as you do that and got a good, 2-3 people around you that's motivating you and uplifting you, that's what I got. So shout out my guys that, I'm with right now. That's all I really just look for is,
Xander, Tom?
Yeah, I would say, most people go to college for 4, 6, 8 years to be a 6-figure earner in their careers. They spend that time to develop a skill set or a profession. You have to treat this position, this role, as your career, and you have to work at basically straight A's. I mean, you're going to fail. You're going to fail constantly. I fail every day. The best part of this position is failure, because you are able to grow and able to learn and able to develop your skill sets and ultimately have more success per attempt. But if you aren't willing to put in the time, as you would, just hours in a classroom, you're not getting paid in a classroom. Here you get paid for the actions and the failures that you take and the attempts. So how many hours can you put in? I mean, if you could do a whole college career in a summer, why wouldn't you? It's the concept. This opportunity is unlimited. It's like insane that anyone doesn't make $1 million you know, myself included. I mean, I have high aspirations for the following years because I see the opportunity grow, and I see the leadership in this company, and I see the direction we're headed in, and it's insane. It's like, it's mind blowing. So it just motivates me to, you know, like, get out of bed a little bit earlier, go to bed a little bit later, knock that door when the sun's coming down, you know, whether it's in person, virtual, on the phone. I mean, you create leads every day. You just need to capitalize on the activity that you do, and you will be successful. If you let things go as you create the leads, as you create the opportunities, then you need to just refine your process and just be more aggressive on remembering what happened yesterday. Who did I talk to yesterday that could be a sale tomorrow? So I guess my advice would just be to treat it like you're a student, and just work, and one more work, like Rihanna.
Yeah, I'd say the big thing is just having accountability partners. I was on one of the top sales teams this past summer. Alex Winters was on it, Tyler Wimpy, Ben Pappas. Just having those accountability partners is huge. Somebody to hold you accountable, to compete with, having that competitive spirit. One thing, I mean, I sold solar a year before this past year. I wasn't the top guy. So I told myself, you know what, my name's gonna be at the top of those leaderboards, and I'm gonna do whatever it takes to do that. So I created a list of non-negotiables and realized, hey, I need to knock these hours every single day. I need to create a routine and execute that routine. And just having a routine, having accountability partners is huge, but also realizing, hey, you could be an average rep or you could be at the top. What's stopping you from being at the top of the list? It's all just a mindset. If you have complete confidence in yourself, you're executing the hours, you have that routine, you're gonna be a baller. One thing that I always tell my office, there's two types of people in this world. There's dogs and there's puppies, all right? Puppies wait on the porch and they get fed, right? What do dogs do? They go out and eat. So you just have that dog in you.
Let's go.
Yeah, for me, I mean, just to top off on these guys, just preparation. You got to know where you're going to be at the day before, know who you're going to talk to, know what you're going to say. And yeah, like he was saying, accountability. Shout out Solar Money Gang. I know if I take a day off or I sell 2 a week, 3 a week, somebody's going to call me and be like, yo, bro, you okay? You good? You know, you know, it's kind of a slow week for you. But yeah, just knowing what you're going to be doing the day before, connect with somebody who pushes you, have somebody who's going to keep you going, keep you accountable, have some goals, and know what you got to do to obtain those goals every single day.
Okay, love it. Okay, next question I have is similar to the first one, a little bit different, and would like to hear from a couple guys specifically. So a lot of guys here, similar to the first question, but a lot of guys here are wanting to have a breakthrough, right? I think that's a big thing, is being able to, it's one thing, you know, have a good year or a couple of good years, but actually breaking through from, hey, I'm a middle level guy or a low level guy, how do I actually have a breakthrough to the top level? You know, can you give us an insight into your guys' heads on, you know, the guys that maybe had a breakthrough? Some, you know, I know Winters has kind of been a top rep for a long time, but guys, you know, Tom, would love to hear from you. Like, what did it look like for you? And you hit it on a little bit already, but what did it look like for you? If you can give some specifics on how does someone go have a breakout year? How do they change that mentality from, hey, this is, you know, I'm a $100,000 earner to, you know, hey, I'm a $300,000 earner, right? What does a breakthrough look like?
If I can jump in, it's just beat him. Like, that's the rabbit, you know, that's the pace setter. So all I do is I just like, how much is he doing? I want to do more. That's pretty much it. You know, like, do more than he does because you're not as good as him. So
there you go.
It's like, that's it.
I'm probably beating a dead horse here, but really it's just burning the ships. Like, if you have any doubt within yourself, like, just take a second and just realize, hey, don't think of it as I've got to knock doors. Hey, I get the opportunity to knock doors. God has given me another day. Why don't I execute it the way that he would want me to? Living life to the max. As far as, let's say it gets to 8:30. Oh, well, my guys, they want me to go pick them up. No, one more door. Always one more door, one more door. Having thick skin, really, like, don't let anything get to your head. It's just all about having complete confidence in yourself and just executing. One of the big things that we just went over was Sunday planning. Any successful team, they probably practice the best. It all boils down to practice, consistency, and having a game plan.
Love it. Love to hear one more. Winners?
Yeah, just to touch on what Xander was saying. So I feel like all the guys up here, including myself, we just have a really good idea of what this opportunity is. Solar is one of those things where like it can change your life if you make it change your life. And the decisions we do every single day ultimately lead up to the goals that we try to hit. And once you understand like how many people's lives you can change is really when it comes down to like, hey, if you're not working, you're almost like, you almost have the mindset where like I'm missing out or I'm not doing the things I'm supposed to be doing. And that's one of the things that, you know, I struggle with my mindset. Like when I'm not working, I literally feel like I'm missing out. And just having that urgency and realizing, hey, we don't know how long this opportunity is going to be around forever. So like make this your lifestyle, like build that urgency in your head and then the results will come.
I love that. Let's hear more. Anybody else on that one?
Yeah, for me, it really just came down to dropping my ego. I've been doing this for a super long time. I started doing this when I was in college, and I made a lot of excuses like, oh, I can't be the top earner. I'm still in school, or I'm still hanging out on the weekends and stuff. I'm still young. I decided to finally just put all that aside and just really fully dive into it, fully commit. If there's people ahead of you on the leaderboards, they're ahead of you for a reason. Get around those people, ask what they're doing, figure out what their routine is, and take that and apply it to your own game plan every single day.
Awesome. Okay, guys, next question before we go to the crowd is, what do you guys, this is a short take, so everybody will give everybody a chance. What do you guys believe are a few things that separate average performing reps and the top 1% that people overlook? So what are the simple, small things you think you're doing in the detail things that most people are just overlooking? If there's something you can think of.
Do you wake up and look at your Volt app and see where you are on the leaderboard?
Yeah.
That's every day you should do that because it defines how much the distance between you and the person in front of you is. And even if you don't win, it's not important to be, number one or number two or whatever. It's top 10, whatever. It's just, did you make what you wanted to make? But the best metric for that is the person in front of you working harder than you? I would just say every day I go to bed, I look at the leaderboard, and I wake up and look at the leaderboard. And it's like that just defines like, am I on the right track? Am I working hard enough to maintain, the status quo? And then how can I push that?
I love it. Let's go two more, or go ahead.
I would say discipline, just putting in more time than everybody else. Even with doing this for a super long time, I made it my goal last summer to be the last person that posts in the chat every single day. Game planning the night before, game planning the morning of, making sure you're getting a good night of sleep, making sure that you're eating healthy every single day. Every small thing matters, all of it compounds. So make sure that you get that in line and really, commit to it.
Anybody else? Doug?
One thing is, like, if you guys are having a tough day on the doors, remember that one customer that just loves you. So if the guy's name, like I tell my guy all the time, Dylan, find the next Steve. Steve loved the product. He loved solar, wanted to save money. So when you're going out there and you're having a bad day, getting your ass kicked, just, all right, let me find Steve. You're not Steve. You're not Steve. Okay, I found Steve. Then you guys got that, that opportunity to make another deal. And, it's just like the little things. And like Taylor McCarthy says, your why. You guys got to remember when you go into, the store and you see someone working 40 hours a week, making $800, $900 in that week, and they had to bust their ass in a store. That should definitely motivate you guys. Like Alex said, this opportunity is crazy. You can go knock on a door and trick or treat for thousands of dollars. So, that should be all for you guys. Just knock on some doors and make some money.
Love it.
We should get some trick or treat bags.
Okay, one more question before we go to the field. So, what do you guys do to combat some of the days where you just fail? Like you're not on, your pitch isn't there, you've missed a couple closes. Like, how do you combat that? What do you use to bounce back from that? Everybody's had bad days, right? It's just a matter of like how long those bad days last. So give us an insight, like what are things that you guys do on those times where you're just not hitting it or you're having a failure moment to bounce back?
I'll take this one. So it sounds like the question is like, what do you do on the days where you just don't feel like working? Because that's what it kind of comes down for me. There's days where I get to area, I'm in my car, and I just don't feel like getting out and knocking the door or running this appointment because, I know it's going to be difficult. And it always just resorts back to like the hardest door for me is always going to be the car door. So I always try to, my daily schedule, I always try to incorporate, knocking. And so I just try to get out, knock for 10 to 15 minutes. And every time I'm on a door and I knock for a couple hours, it always ends up with me getting some lead or some deal that, I'm just super grateful that I actually just went out and knocked. And so I just feel like just doing it every single day just makes it a lot easier because then you build up momentum. And then you get a deal today, it's 10 times easier to get a deal tomorrow just because you're riding that momentum. So I would just say do it every day.
I'll give a real life example from the photo shoot in Willows last week. I stayed in Sacramento because I was like, this is the right market. So I went out on Saturday. I was in the field by 8:30 a.m. I didn't set a single appointment by 1. I got lunch at In-N-Out was like line around the corner. So I just got lunch at it was like a Chili's or whatever. And then I took a nap in my car. And I'm not going to lie, you probably don't want to hear this, but I took a 15-minute nap. I set my Apple Watch for a 15-minute nap. I woke up. It was like a new day. And then I went out and set 3 in 90 minutes. So it was in, one of those closed, and it was a huge deal. It was like a 7 kilowatt, like a 5. So it was, it was literally just reset your mindset in the middle of the day. You have all day, like Doug just said, it only takes one. You only need to get one sale a day to be the top. You'd beat all of us if you got one sale a day every day of the year, even if you took 1 day a week off. 300 sales a year. No, I don't think any of us did 300. And so that's the opportunity. That's the mentality. Just if you are having a rough day, reset your day. Do whatever you got to do. Go to the gym if you need to. Go if you have a family, go to your family. Spend some time with your kids. Whatever the case might be. Just bang some crazy music and get pumped up and just have a new mindset. But sometimes you need to separate those 2 4-hour periods. If you're working an 8-hour day, you should have 2 of them in one day. So you have 2 opportunities to make that happen.
Yeah, just to reiterate again, having that accountability partner, whatever sales team, whatever office you're in, find 1 or 2 guys, and if you're having a rough day, text them, be like, dude, I don't know what's going on, and then they'll usually use words of affirmation to bring you back up. Also too, if I'm in an area, first 5 doors is oh, you're the 6th guy to come by. Sometimes I need a reset, and I'm like, listen, they may have talked to 5 or 6 guys, but they haven't talked to me yet. So what's going to set me apart? So realistically, no matter what area you're in, let's say you're on the doors, you're a setter, just realize, hey, whoever talked to them prior just caught them at a bad time or they didn't say what I'm saying. And just having full conviction and using I am words. I'm a dog. I'm going to get after it. And realize everything's in your control. Control the controllables.
Love it. Okay, guys, we're going to take this to the field for the audience. Any questions that we have? Let's get some hands up. I see hands up everywhere. Let's start there in the corner right there. Yep.
Yeah, I have a question for the panel, but more specifically Alex Winters. With you having the sizable amount of deals that you have, how do you keep up with your pipeline? And what do you practice to keep high retention? Do you go to site surveys? Give me some of the insight on your strategies.
The question was, how do I manage my pipeline? Okay. Yeah, that's definitely something I'm still working on. It's tough when you work with a lot of homeowners. I feel like I'm always adding contacts to my cell phone, and then I get random calls. You're like, who's calling me right now? And so I've been fortunate to have a really good project manager from Freedom for the last couple years. That I actually have a new project manager now, which is unfortunate, but she's been great. She'll text me after appointments. I'll text her my utility bill. Try to upload the documents as soon as I can, but as of lately, when I'm self-generating, I always try to go to the site surveys. I feel like that's a great tactic just because there's always concerns that when you leave the house that are going to come up at the site survey. And if you show up, show face, crack a few jokes, talk to the homeowner, help alleviate their concerns, I feel like they're 10 times more solid, especially if you just meet with them one more time to show them their design or the roof or whatever it is. Because people have questions when they're making a big decision. And so that's definitely a good idea. I definitely do show up to a lot of site surveys.
Okay, go ahead. Let's go second question right here.
One of my favorite quotes from Atomic Habits is you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. And sometimes it takes a lot of sacrifices for that. So I want to know what sacrifices you guys have had to make to be where you're at now.
You gotta sacrifice a lot. Like last year, I missed my mom's birthday. I missed my dad's birthday. I worked during my birthday. I'm not in a relationship right now. I have no kids, so I feel like it's the perfect opportunity for me. So I give it out to all the guys that have families and wives, because I don't know how I would be able to manage this job. So if you're in my situation where you don't have any of that, there's no reason why you guys shouldn't, be up here next year as well. So it is a lot of sacrifice, but the rewards are great. So that's kind of what I sacrifice.
A couple more answers on that one. Anybody else?
Yeah, I'd say like I'm in a relationship, smoking hot girlfriend, been with her for like 3 years. She, but obviously she doesn't like me being gone for 5 months at a time. So like I always reward her like, hey, I hit the certain number of accounts. You trust the process. I'm gonna take you on a super nice trip, whether that's Puerto Rico or Cancun or Greece, whatever. So always like rewarding myself because of those sacrifices. Being in a relationship is definitely tough, but just getting them bought in. Like, hey, I'm working from these hours to these hours. I've got this certain schedule where I can call you at this time, and then it's just a non-negotiable. Like she knows, hey, I'll call you here, I'll call you there. Like this is what it's gonna be. Then you just gotta trust the process, because I'm just trying to live life at an accelerated rate. That way we can create generational wealth.
Tom is just crushing the answers today. Okay, let's do a couple more questions. We got one over here.
So it's a question for everybody, but I'd specifically like to hear from my boy Jay. When you think about where you've come from, I'd like to hear about where you were a year ago and how you visualize where you see yourself being in a year from now.
Did you guys get all that?
Could you repeat that?
I like the accent.
This question was where you, go ahead.
Where were you a year ago? Where do you see yourself being in a year? And how does that help focus you on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, I'll take that one real quick if I can. So for me, this time last year, I was in your guys' seats, and I looked to the person to the left of me and the person on the right of me, and I said, if I don't get on that stage next year, I failed myself. So really just committing to that, like my man to the right said, checking the leaderboard every single day was my thing for a long time, just keeping an eye on everybody else. But looking forward next year, if I can be in a similar type of position where I can be on the stage again, I would consider that a success. Anything else is a failure.
Thank you. And CJ.
Do you want us to go? Okay. But I think it was like 2 years ago. I don't know if Winners remembers it, but I was just asking everybody. It was on the Hawaii retreat. I was asking every top guy what they do differently, and that's what I recommend all of you guys to do. And I was like, I'm gonna be, exactly where Winners is at. I had like 30 installs at the time. He had over like 150, and he's probably like, hey man, you got it, man. And I was like, you damn right I do. So, I ended up just working the hours, asking, Winners, every top performer in this room, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? And just put it all into, my own little sauce, and that's what helped me out. So, and I believed in myself to get here this year, and that's about it.
A year ago, I probably had 30 overdraft fees, was asking guys for $50 to go take me so I can go to a gas station and go work. It was honestly like rock bottom. Like I said, to get somebody to believe in the system, like truly you've got to burn all ships. Like I was 30 grand in credit card debt, no way of figuring out how I'm going to pay for this. So I literally just put everything on the line. I'm like, the only way that I can get out of this is by working to the fullest. And now, no more overdraft fees, no more debt, super happy with life, and just really just have a foundation now where I know a process that works and always doing that. Like if you know what works, just do it, don't change it. Like that's one of my problems when I first started this career. I knew the pitch down to the tee and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna stick with this. Then next thing you know, I kept hearing everybody else's pitches. I'm like, oh, I'll start putting this one-liner in there. Like, the reason why we have these trainings, just keep it simple and you're gonna succeed. It's all about just executing. like repetition, repetition, repetition. Not, yeah.
Nice.
I mean, what is the motto for the what's like the tagline for this year is locked in. Be locked in. That's it.
Yeah, I was actually kind of in the same spot too about a year ago. Lost my whip. Was like 10, 15 G's in debt. But, you know, when you're back against the wall, you got no other choice but to go up. So, you know, came to a retreat like this, saw a bunch of people getting on stage. I was like, why not me? What the fuck's so different between them and me, you know? And then just believing in myself. A year later, you know, bought a new crib with my mom, bought a new car, was able to take care of my family, have some badass trips, make some awesome friends. But yeah, just embracing that hate, just hating where you started at the beginning and knowing that, hey, I don't ever want to go back there ever again. I'm going to do whatever it freaking takes to never go back there and be right here.
Put up for that. Okay, we got time for two more questions. Let's go right here, both these guys. Put your hands back up if you would.
You got scared.
Yeah, so, like, what do you guys think is, like, the most important thing from set to close? Like, what do you guys think is maybe in your process to get the deal all the way to the end and just make it
Same
that much
day.
more solid? Same days, yeah.
Same day city, baby, all day.
Yeah. It's good.
What really helps me is just bringing a gift for the homeowner. So just making sure, you know, you're a friend or something, you know, hey, by the way, I like to give all my homeowners a gift card to their favorite restaurant. What's your favorite restaurant? And then they're like, oh my God, really? I'm like, yeah, I'll bring it tomorrow, or I'll bring it on the day of site survey. And then when they see that, you know, it's locked in from there. So, but yeah, that's just a little trick that I do. It definitely, I don't think anybody's ever canceled when I gave them a gift card. If they did, I'd try to get that gift card back.
I'd say it's not about the deal, it's about how they feel. And that statement just brings a lot about, it's not about like how much you're saving them, it's not about, you know, what type of panels you're giving them, it's how they feel about you, it's about how they feel about the experience you're bringing them within the short period of time that you spent with them. And so just try to make it like a feel-good process, right? Like, hey, they're here, they're excited, you're excited, like this is great, they're getting away from the utility company, like this is awesome, you know? So just make sure they feel really good, and then they'll be stoked when they sign up.
Hey, if ever there was a phrase to write down, that's the one right there. It's not about the deal, it's how they feel. That's pretty good. Let's do one more. Go ahead, Xander.
Mine might be a little unconventional, but both Android and Apple both have these. Pre-plan your follow-ups, so you can now send a text later to remind them you're thinking of them, or like, hey, just wanted to make sure you're on board with the process. You can do it day of with Android or Apple. It's just send them a message for like 3 days out, 7 days out. You can do that all same day. You can get back in your car after the sale and send those messages, and they automate sending it. So then you're automatically literally reminding yourself, oh, I need to follow up with this person. And that's how you can handle high volume, because otherwise it's a monster to keep track of. I mean, you literally can't remember 200 people a year, you know. So you gotta basically just plan your days in advance. Hey, I need to talk to them in 3 days, 7 days. I need to get that property title or whatever it might be, that STIP figured out. Just set it for when you want to do it, and then you will remind yourself to do it. And if you don't know how to do that, just hit the plus sign on your iPhone and go down to send later, and there you go.
Love that. Okay, guys, one more question. I think we had a guy over here.
So my question is for you guys: what do you guys normally do to prepare yourself for that for the day and throughout the week, in the beginning of the week?
Yeah, so like I said, I hit rock bottom. I was like, I definitely need to switch what I'm doing, and like, not to glaze Taylor McCarthy, like we do that enough here, but we do have those trainings that are available to us. Like, I sat on the treadmill every single day before I knocked, watched every single one of his videos, and I was like, all right, I'm saying word for word this while I'm out of the doors. Did it down to a T. Constantly learning. Like he said, ego for sure. Like, definitely having that extreme confidence, but also realizing, hey, I'm not the best. So constantly learning, like listening to podcasts, watching those training videos that we have to our disposal. Like it really boils down to that. Like the more you're going to learn, the more you're going to earn. Yeah.
Bro's obviously hitting the gym too, so, you know.
Okay, anybody else on their morning routine or what they do to get themselves prepared?
Yeah, for me, I'm just a maniac when it comes to looking in the area. I look at that stuff the night before. I look at it, when I wake up, whether it's Volt, Redfin, Zillow, whatever the case may be. And I just try to have like an exact game plan in my head every single day, like hour by hour, what I'm going to be doing, when I'm going to be taking my breaks, when I'm going to be hitting my first lap, my second lap, my third lap, when I'm going to hit my follow-ups. Having all that planned out going into the day is an absolute game changer.
Money. Okay, guys, if I can give you, again, one more piece of advice. It's over the next, today and the rest of tomorrow, these guys will be walking around. Pick their brain. Like you heard Doug say it, like 2 years ago, he went and found the top guys from that year or the year before, asked them the most important questions. What did you do to get there? What was the mindset? What was the breakthrough? Like, take some time and ask these guys those questions, man. That's exactly what I would do. They'll be around. They're obviously happy to share. Let's give them one more big round of applause.